Cheerios. I'm drinking my morning coffee here. I just woke up not too long ago. But anywho, I really wanted to talk about a thought that came to mind this morning. And it's interesting to think about, right? So the thought is, you know those people that win the lottery out of the blue, right? And a lot of these people may have never come into like a big lump sum of money, or just never really understood money in a sense, right? They've had it, but it wasn't this amount, right? And so they win the lottery and then they go spend it all on, just crazy shit. Whether it's, booze, alcohol, just random shit, right? And they spend it so quickly. They spend it so quickly that pretty soon they're either in debt or they have purchased certain things that they have to continue spending money on, yet they don't have the money no more, right? So it's that thought that came into my head to where it's like, this is why people don't necessarily like to tell people about how much money they're making or their financial situation or the fact that they're a billionaire, millionaire. Because there's people in the world that don't understand money, like the people that have money. And there's this thing where it's like, I get it. I get it. You have people that are complaining about how all these people are buying this, buying that, have all this money, but they're not helping the poor. They're not helping the homeless. And 100% I get this. I used to have this kind of mindset in a way to where it was like, well, yeah, I get it. Why can't they, share some money with other people? But then you have to realize we don't know every millionaire, billionaire in the world. We don't know if maybe they are sharing it with people, right? Maybe they are doing the best they can. But then you have to remind yourself, not every millionaire, billionaire, or just person who has money, a good enough money to be able to share, wants to share. You can't force somebody or make somebody to share what they have when they don't want to, and then you get mad at them for not sharing, right? It's kind of like you're crossing into another person's lane, another person's boundary, and telling them, oh, so you have all of this and you don't want to share it with me, when they were the ones that built that. They were the ones that created that money, that flow for themselves. So their ownership of it, right? They created that business. It's like having a trusted friend with you that goes into business, and then they turn around and steal it and take it from you. It's that kind of similar analogy that you got to really think about with millionaires, billionaires, just people who have a lot of money. And then you gotta look at the fact that we live in a world today, right? We live in a world today where ultimately we all have a choice. We all have a choice to choose what we believe in. We all have a choice to be whoever the fuck we want to be, right? And I've learned from myself, coming from poverty, and I don't even like to say that word because to me poverty means like nothing. Like I grew up, I always had food on my plate. We may not have always had a roof over our head, but I grew up with where money wasn't praised, okay? I didn't really learn about wealth. I didn't learn about how to utilize money in the best ways. I never really was taught a lot of knowledgeable things that are all around us today. You look at YouTube. We have YouTube. Some people don't want to start a YouTube channel, and that's okay. Some people don't want to do certain things or don't trust certain things to invest their money, right? But that's what a lot of people don't realize. To want to make more money, to have more money, to be abundant, to be flowing, you have a choice of how you go about using your money, how you go about where you put your money, where you live, environments. And I'm not saying It's going to be easy. It's going to be fun. Mind you, I've been homeless. I've been without. I've been broke, and I've, had to rely on the government. I've had to go through a lot of obstacles to understand this. It's your mentality at the end of the day that really challenges you to understand why things are the way they are. And so this goes back to the whole, why people, spend money, win big money like the lottery and then spend it real quick. It's because they don't have that mentality of how to utilize it for their good, right? So it's like you could be getting paid every 2 weeks and you're paying your bills, everything's good, and you may have nothing left over, or you may have a little bit left over, right? But you're still complaining about the fact that you're broke. You're still complaining the fact that, life's not great, life's miserable, whatever the case may be. You're not focused on, okay, this is where I'm at, right? I'm in a situation I don't really necessarily like to be in. I feel like I'm not able to save money. I feel like I'm not able to do what I want to do. You still have a choice. You have a choice to find a different job. You have a choice to ask for a raise. You have a choice to shift your mindset into, hey, maybe I'll get a side gig that I actually like, that I actually, fuels me to make more money that I can set aside for the future, whether I invested into an IRA, whether I invested into, a car, whatever that may be, right? Trust me, I'm one of those persons, I don't like to save money. I like to spend money, okay? So I'm speaking from experience. I've worked 18-hour shifts, okay? I was a caregiver, and I used to, get good money. I feel like for me, I've always been lucky without realizing I was lucky, but mentality wise, I had to come to a point in my life to realize that I was, allowing myself to believe that I wasn't lucky. I was allowing myself to believe that, nothing was happening for me when there were so many blessings all around me. And that's what a lot of people don't recognize. They're so focused on everybody else and what they're doing, what they're getting, how they're living, or just all their problems instead of focusing on what they already have. Instead of focusing on the fact that I have a choice to change. I have a choice to make more money. I have a choice to, find ways to shift my mindset to believe that, what? I have a roof over my head. I'm able to eat, food every day, buy food, whatever it is, choose where I get to buy food, have those options, and drive a car, be able to go certain places, live in a certain area, and I hear so much about how, I live in California, so I hear so much about how California is so expensive, and you're right, it is. But at the same time, it's like, really digest that word expensive. Like, okay, if it's expensive to you, like, what are you focused on? Why is it so expensive to you? Are you, going out to eat every day? Or are you, a lot of people may contribute that to rent, which, yeah, it's crazy. But then you got to think, living in California is a luxury, I feel. Like, mind you, I'm originally from Minnesota. I grew up in Wyoming. And when you come to California, like, it's a whole different vibe here, right? You have all seasons here, but it's not like Minnesota and Wyoming. Wyoming, it's like there's nothing there. It's beautiful in certain parts, in certain areas, but it's fucking Wyoming, okay? But the point I'm trying to make is living in California is expensive because everybody wants to live here, because there's more opportunities than Minnesota and Wyoming possibly. But you still have a choice, right? And mind you, I haven't been, to Minnesota and Wyoming for a very long time. But it's the aspects you gotta look at. Like California, I've lived here for 10 years. The weather is usually always beautiful, even when it rains. Growing up in Minnesota, like, you were running into tornadoes, you were, had the snow. the cold, like it was a 30 negative 30 degrees. So it's that kind of thing you got to look at, why California is expensive. But is it worth it for you? Because there's a lot of people that move out of here and it's harder to come back. And that's when I had to realize, okay, because part of me wanted to move out of here. Part of me still wants to, find another place. But at the end of the day, you really got to, for me, I really had to like understand that, because I know I'm one, when I leave California and I go visit somewhere else, I'm always wanting to come back. This is like it's like almost my soul home living here. But it's that kind of thing. It's like I do my best to not complain about how expensive it can get. Because for one, I have a roof over my head. I'm able to afford that, right? At one point in time, I was homeless here. So it's like I look at those kind of things where it's like, okay, if you're able to, live here, if you're able to make it work, then it's not expensive. It's really how you go about it mentally. Like I'm grateful for the fact that I get to live here, that I get to have the opportunities. And even if it's not like going to certain places all the time, I still am able to live here. So it's that kind of thing you got to look at with mentality wise, right? With what you have. And this can be anywhere, not just California. I'm just using myself as an example. But I hear this a lot with people that I speak with sometimes about how it's getting expensive and how they may be broke or this or that. And it's like, listen, I get it. But at the end of the day, it's all about shifting your mindset to believe that you already have what you need. And if you don't have what you need, you eventually will get that. You just have to shift your mindset, make a choice, and redirect yourself, right? Like I said, I've been homeless before. I've been without money before. Was in a very survival mode, right? And I think a lot of us are in general, because that stems to generation and whatnot. So if you're part of a family that's always never really had a lot of money or didn't really have a lot of things, you start to recognize certain behaviors within that, right? And so I wanted to break free from that. I wanted to break free from the fact that like I can have anything I want. I can, really make a name for myself, or the fact that, I really want to be able to have more money, have more wealth, and learn about it. And that's what I've done for myself, and I continue to do, because obviously money is always changing in a sense, right? We create money, we create value. So it's understanding where to put your money and how to utilize it in the best way possible, even if you don't have a lot of it, right? And and for me, it's very interesting to look at when so going back to the whole lottery situation, right? It's very interesting to just observe and watch other people and how they understand it for themselves. And I think that's where I learned a lot of my wisdom, is observing other people and how they treat money, but also observing, people that have money, right? And what they're really doing with it. And that's been very beneficial for me, because it's helped me understand how to utilize my money. Because a lot of times people may believe that money is the root of all evil, or money this, money that is just all for the greedy. Everybody that has money is greedy, corrupt, and whatnot. But it's like, if I came into a lot of money, right? Now with the knowledge I have now, like I'm one of those persons that I don't want money so I can go spend it on everything, even though I do want to do that. But I also want more money so I can give back in ways that are beneficial to this planet, beneficial to people that, truly need that support, right? And they're not necessarily asking for money. They're not necessarily saying, oh, well, you have money and I need it, It's the mentality behind it. It's like, who can I not anonymously help or support? What countries can I go to, or what neighborhoods, communities can I go to really learn about their cause, right? And there's a lot of celebrities, there's a lot of people with money that do this. And you just got to pay attention to that. Because if you're paying attention to more of the negative aspects of money and the lies and the deceit that people, the internet, is telling you, then that's what you're going to believe about, billionaires, people with money, celebrities. Because, yeah, it's not saying that that doesn't exist. It's just saying that's your only focus. That's your only eternal focus of what you believe, right? Because what we believe is a reflection of our outer selves, in a sense. So it's that kind of thing that I've started recognizing with myself. It's how do people dress? How do people, go about just living their life? So for me, I'm bougie, okay, and I love it because I like nice things. Like this cup, this to me looks super fancy. It's super cute. I got it at Walmart, I think for $5. So it's that kind of thing where I start to recognize you don't have to spend thousands, millions of dollars. And I say millions because that's just exaggeration. But you don't even have to spend like $50 on makeup. You don't have to spend a certain amount of money on a certain amount of things, right? If you find certain things, like myself, I'm one of those persons, I call myself bougie on a budget, because I don't have thousands of dollars in my bank account every day. Do I want that? Yes, I believe that's possible. I believe I'm making that happen. But, right now, I don't have that. Um, and I don't like to say that because I'm all about manifestation. I'm all about, believing I already have it, because I do. It's just in another reality. But what I'm trying to make a point here is the fact that for anybody listening, just understand you can look nice. You can look good. You can look expensive. You can look rich. You can feel rich. And you can believe you're rich. And you can come into wealth, right? Because at the end of the day, I've understood that myself is a frequency. Myself is wealth. Myself is money, right? I'm the one that goes to work. I'm the one that does this to earn this money, right? You put in the work, and so you earn this money. But what a lot of people forget is, like, they're the money maker. They're the frequency. They're the ones that bring in. And it's an aspect of, how you view yourself. If you believe you're broke, then obviously the universe believes you're broke too. But it's also knowing that you're not broke if you have a roof over your head, if you have a beautiful coffee cup and coffee in it, drinking it. You're not broke. You're abundant. You're abundant if you're able to, take showers. You're abundant. It's looking at the small things, really, right? And shifting your mindset to believe that you already are wealthy, you already are rich, you already won the lottery, and you're utilizing your frequency to attract more, even with spending. So for me, I've learned when I spend money, I allow myself to believe that money is going to come back tenfold to me. Whether it's, spending money on a meal and tipping somebody, or whether it's spending money on certain products that I really want to invest in myself to help me feel good about myself, to love myself, to really nourish my body, right? To really help me just feel good, to where I'm in this feel good state, this feel good energy that feels rich, buying certain clothes that fit my aesthetic, shifting my style and understanding what I like for myself and how I feel comfortable in it and why I want to wear it, and also utilizing, subliminals, meditations, so for me, I've done a lot of research on different goddesses and gods and really embodying those energies, because goddesses and gods are connected, to wealth, connected to legendary success and just so much, gold, and instead of looking at it in a negative way, I'll say, look at it as in a divine way, right? Because I believe everything is connected to the divine. We have a God, goddess within ourselves, that's part of, source, that's part of the divine, that's part of God, that's part of the universe. And we're connected. We're always connected. We just have to understand and believe that we are always connected. And that is where our wealth comes from. I believe that I get paid from the universe every day. And it's not just in dollar bills, right? It's a lot of people look at money as, oh, I have to have a certain amount of money in my bank account. But that's not always it, baby. Sometimes you may, get somebody who wants to pay for your meal, or somebody that wants to support you in your business, or just certain resources that are all around us. Like in California, there's so many resources here, like food banks, right, that you can literally, if you're struggling with food, you can go drive to, schedule an appointment, and go pick up some food. It may not always be the greatest food, but you have an option, you have a choice at the end of the day to utilize the resources that are out there. And yes, a lot of people don't know about these resources. A lot of people don't understand there is resources, and that's where I've come in to understand for myself that, okay, there's gotta be something out there. And for me, it's really putting in that work by searching for it, finding for it, or allowing the universe to bring it to me. So it's really how you go about it. But I really wanted to, just create this video to share some wisdom and some truth with how to look at wealth, how to look at, luxury, how to look at just knowing that you're always abundant and believing that, and starting small, and gradually, learning that everything does work out in your favor. It may not be the funnest or easiest at first, but it's definitely worth it, and it continues to get better. You continue to adapt and become stronger, but more importantly, you learn that everything happens for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason. So one day, you randomly may run into somebody that needs your support, that needs your guidance, that needs your resource. And that's really how the universe works, right? We're all here for a reason. We're all discovering new things, new insights, understanding things and how things work. And there's some of us that have good intentions to share, to empower, and to help others, pave the way for others, right? But there's some that are fighting against that don't want people to win, that don't want to see people thrive. And so it's really about navigating that path and choosing that direction of that sight of where you want to go, because your intentions could be, going towards, a path of enlightenment or a path of destruction and death. I laugh because, like, literally, like, it's a visual that's coming in my mind of literally of a roadway, It's like the Y, right? The Y chromosome. The why me, why this, or the why not me, right? So it's I feel like it can be very simple for us. It can be, as long as we ground ourselves, as long as we, allow ourselves to see. It can be easy, it can become more simpler, it can be fun. It can be fun. So I hope you really enjoyed this little message. And I hope it brings you some confidence within yourself, brings you some assurance and just release of whatever you may be, struggling with at this moment. And if you're not struggling, just motivation to keep you going, to keep you pushing, baby. Because, we all got something going on. We all, doing what we doing. We all, living. We all here. And I appreciate you. So like, share, comment your thoughts if you'd like. But most importantly, have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, night, wherever the fuck you are. Peace.